They may have not chosen their spawn at that point, but we're going to have to wait and see. Here we are. We actually have quite a few more teams on the podium here. We have GG, Wolves. Oh, a beefy hit taken from CJS. He grapples. That's a big mistake, buddy. You don't want to grapple there. You're just a sitting duck for the ballista across the way, my friend. CJS gets taken down. Noting that in the kill feed, JL just took down what seems like the majority of Bowder as well. But GG lacking one member. I think they're waiting to send out the call for him to resurrect himself, just to see if they can maybe find the res. But we're heading on over to Yushan Ruins. We have KLA up against XCG. KLA definitely in the winning position here, taking down 2 members and 3, and there it is. Very quick kills coming out from KLA. They're immediately going to loot up, potentially buy themselves a Moonbane. We haven't seen the notification pop up on the screen just yet. Going back over to podium, we have 521 lurking around the sides, trying to find potential entry point to the podium to mitigate the risk of the ballista, or perhaps, in fact, they might just run right past it. So actually, this is interesting, and I'm actually not surprised now that I think about it. This little area below podium, although it's nothing like the money place on Morris Isle, it definitely has quite a few boxes that you can break and to try and get as many Darktide coins as you can. So they might be looking to try and secure themselves a blue Moonbane, as it's the only one you could buy in Immortal War. For those of you who have not played Immortal War before, only the blue Moonbane can be purchased. No purple, no gold. So you have to buy them up very quickly if you want to buy them.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I think it's an underrated area for players to spawn in, right? You think about on a map like Morris Isle where you have a money spot. Everybody knows to drop there. There's a ton of boxes in those 3 little rooms. You can loot it up really quickly. But this spot, like you said, has a ton of those boxes. They're just slightly more spread out. So as long as you know where those boxes are and you've created a pathing for yourself, you can actually put together a substantial amount of Darktide coins very quickly in that same area. It's just much less spoken about in general in the community. Speaking of other spots,
you get this spot as well here.
Yeah, as well. There's a ton of boxes and there's little pots that you can all break that have Darktide coins. And generally speaking, in my experience, the loot here, especially when it's gold, is very good. That Tesla coming in strong here. 521 Pampy not in the greatest position, trying to lock something down. Gets parried from behind by LXM, looking to clean it up coming in. Now we also got the Viper ult coming in here from GG. 521 in a bit of a pickle here. Pampy completely separated from the team. Tesla here going to invest the F just to get away from the Furuin shove. But Pampy keeping alive. We will see the Wuchen ult come out. Wuchen trying to buy them a little bit of space as 521 flips this on its head. A little bit too much focus there on the Takeda might cost GG the fight. They're looking to lock it down. Yin with the parry. LXM goes for the overhold. Is going to get punished for it here as 521 completely flips the fight. And we're going to see GG get sent back to the Soul Altar.
Absolutely cooked by 521, but are they going to be able to recover and potentially generate their ults back up before Alliance fully executes on top of them? Alliance Bow does have both Tessa charges ready to go, ready to send out. He sends out one, catching 2 members of 521. Pampy, so unbelievably low, gets parried. So does Unique as well. The V3 coming in, preventing those cooldowns from being used from 521. But Unique, he's not going down without a fight. Bow's trying to chase him down, along with the Wuchen as well. They do have the Wuchen port. If this goes south, but it looks as though Unique might be in a unwinnable situation. He does send out the overholds, but it's kind of cooked for him, unfortunately, and 521 lose 2 members here. I think the third did manage to stay alive. They may have been told to immediately disengage and look to keep some of the loot that they just accumulated from having taken down GG. But Alliance definitely going to be happy about that one. 2 kills. I mean, not 3, but 2 kills. And then on top of that, they get the majority of the money that both of these teams had, sitting on over 20,000 Darktide coins. That's a pretty penny. That's a nice little bag to take to the Darktide. Is it the Darktide dealer? It's the Dark something Rift dealer. Darktide Rift dealer. That was it. I always just call it the shop. You know. but I feel like whenever I'm casting, I should call it by its proper name, and then I always forget what it is.
Well, you've got Rift Dealers, you got Morris Blessings, but Shop, I think everybody knows exactly what you're talking about.
The shop.
We'll come back over here to Team KLA. KLA here with 3 eliminations under their belt, doing a little bit of loot trading here. No purple armor just yet, but I think they're in a decent position to head towards that realm of Yang that's getting ready to come through as soon as Zone 1 finishes collapsing. We cut over to JJH. JJH, of course, going to come over, do a little bit of shopping for themselves as well here. Not a ton of Dark Tide coins under their belt, but trying to find some of those purple weapons and resources that they desperately need. You can see Flame here with 2 and 4 in terms of pots. This is the stage of game where not having those pots is not really going to play a huge factor, right? Most of the time you're going to be picking up pots from the teams that you're eliminating. As you pick up Dark Tide coins, you can head to the shop and pick them up. It's those later stages of the game where most of the areas have been looted through. There's no shops available left on the map anymore, and the only place to get those resources is from eliminating other teams, where it's really going to play a huge part in your game plan in terms of balancing those resources. Looks like TE going to come over here. They opened one of these lovely treasure troves. Going to find some much needed legendary soul jades for themselves as we get ready to head into those first set of realms of Yang soon. Again, you know, you and me talk about this a lot, right, Duncan? Those soul jades being extremely important in terms of closing out games as you head into the mid and late game.
Absolutely. Soul jades are, well, jades win games, as Raven would say. He's told me this many a time. When we play trios, it's Jade win games. Jades with games. You know, it is what it is. You know, you gotta get as many good Jades as you can, because they can mean life or death. You know, like having a Hepta or a Merciless Havoc going into endgame, or just even in the mid game, trying to stay alive, trying to stay on the move, prevent yourself from getting third-partied. It can make so much of a difference, especially for those teams who are going to be going into the realm of Yang very shortly, as it has started to spawn in here. We have a lot of teams looking to go in, and those Jades, if you've managed to get yourself some spicy Jades, you're just giving yourselves much better chance of winning the realm of Yang, and then accelerating your lead even further. And I have to say, this is one of the things that I've always had a bit of a, you know, it's like, you know, these little things that kind of feels bad for the players, especially. It's definitely very exciting for viewers and all of that, but for players, if you don't manage to have the best early game possible in an Immortal War lobby, and then you try to go into the realm of Yang, and either you don't get in and you don't get to try and have, you know, risk losing, but also potentially get a huge reward, or you do get in and then you run into a team that's just absolutely stacked, you know, that's just absolutely strapped up with crazy soul jades, and you just get obliterated, and then come out with not so good loot, and then you're just screwed. There's just nothing you can do, you know? And then they're coming out with gold weapons and purple armors and a buff, and then you're just like, what are we doing, man? But anyway, enough of that. We're going to be going into the realm of Yang. We have KLA up in here. We have QGG taking to the skies, going up against Wolves here. Wolves, the pack of Wolves coming in with this Justina Cannibal variation up against the Sand Siphon, and QGG gets frozen, having lost all of his armor. The zipping ult coming in clutch to keep him topped up. It looks as though it may have been popped already. He may have had that Mortal Defiance proc popped already, but his teammate coming in, dropping that armor for him to pick up so that he can stay on his feet. He does have that Takeda ult active. Justina dash going to his teammate, not himself. He goes for the dodge there. ZK now out of the Justina ult. He does have no more Fury Blast left. Most of these players now coming out of their ultimates. EG just getting caught in an absolute blender of fans, unable to escape. XEM trying his best. He does have the gold fan, but it's not going to be enough, I'd imagine. Just clanking back and forth. It is cooked for him, and KLA are going to come out on top.
This is exactly what I talked about for Team Wolves coming into this particular game. They're running that counter version of Cannonball comp. Unfortunately, there's only 2 other Cannonballs in this entire lobby, so heading into the realm of Yang, a little risky for them. They head into Sand Siphon. That version of the comp definitely not as strong into Sand Siphon, and they do pay for it as we head over here to Bao Da versus the likes of JDG inside the realm of Yang. JDG here a little bit on the back foot, as Bao Da here on that other version of Cannonball just takes control of this fight. Oh my god, this Tumult here absolutely cooked. He's just trying to keep his game alive. He gets a huge scale rush though down onto Jing, and then his return the favor. Two-Tick comes in and cleans up the elimination. Now we are in what I do believe is a 3v1, and Two-Tick goes down as JDG Bao cleans up their Realm of Yang. Oh my goodness. Bao
very nice to see,
just clutching it out. And this is what we talk about, right? This version of Cannonball does much better relatively into Sand Siphon, where the Justina version does not. So I feel like Wolves doing themselves a little bit of a disservice coming into this game, playing that counter comp when there's only 2 versions that they really are going to counter out, Duncan.
But that's the thing, you know, the Justina, it's the kind of character that does very well in early mid game. So they're banking off of the possibility that they have a very strong early mid and that they can get a lot of kills. Like we've seen it time and time again. Lots of teams like BWG doing extremely well in mid to early, but then suffering in late. And then you obviously need to work on that mid to late transition. But if you can get it down, then you can definitely capitalize, because Justina can be very, very useful in these open spaces, you know, where Feria doesn't do so well. She does well, but it's just, you know, like, I don't know. It's kind of depends on where you are on the map. If you play around certain locations, it can be very good for Justina because there's not very many places to hide. But then again, the same can be somewhat said for Feria. But with Feria, she's just sort of a presence that can. She just gets bonked. She bonks down in the turret form. You can just shoot her with ranged weapons. But as I was talking, we have Bowder taking down KLA. Bowder picking up another couple kills for themselves, looking to close out this kill onto QGG, the lone Takeda in the 1 versus 3. It's not looking good for him, and it's whatever. It's good for Bowder. Not the end of the world for KLA, considering that they too had the Vermilion Bird's Might. I did want to know that TE had the Mystic Might buff. I think they must have gotten it from a Morris Blessing, and not a Realm of Yang. JL also managing to pick up a win from the Realm of Yang. But then again, we didn't see 4 buffs. We don't see 4 buffs. So did TE take it out of a Realm of Yang? It's possible. I don't think we saw it. Because usually there's 4 buffs active. You know, there's 1 buff from a Morris, and then 3 buffs from Yang. Unless one of the Yangs went... just nobody went in at all, and there was an entire Yang that just nobody went into. But potentially we'll find out later on. Alliance now fighting against Bowder. Bowder having used their cooldowns to take down KLA. Unfortunately, weren't able to face off against Alliance.
Yeah, taking a look over here now. Wolves back in it again, trying to keep their game alive with 50 seconds left remaining on that Yang depletion. Need to find a win here into JJH if they want to keep their game alive. We're going to see the freeze come out on the Kurumi, but he cancels the jump a little too late. He's not able to capitalize on it. Turns in now. ZK really just trying to keep it going here. He's going to catch multiple there. Gets the recharge. Is able to clear the buff here. Godly trying to get away. ZK knows that he cannot allow it to happen, so he's going to separate from the team, but the rest of the team trying to turn in as GG comes in, needs to turn back and get regrouped with the rest of Wolves, who are hunting down the other member of JJH. Chu Li over here trying to get back to the edge of the zone, but Wolves just going to play gatekeeper here, and now Chu Li deciding to keep running out here as they just continue to dog them down, jumping over to JJH. And oh my good, TXJ coming in with a huge Viper ult here.
Damn.
The silence is going to come in. There we go. Leo going to get absolutely butchered there, but is able to save themselves in the final second. They get the ult off. JDG now stuck in the middle here with JL as the other team gets out. This is not the place you want to be if you are team at JL. Will turn on to Two-Tick. Some huge damage coming in off of the F, and a lot of follow-up from the team. JDG's Kiki just getting locked down here, trying to make it out with the fan. We're going to see TXJ come in for the follow-up here with VVV. They will clean up the elimination, but they need to be careful if that Wu Chen's able to come back.
Yes, indeed. Although I have a slight feeling they might not. However, JL have another team to worry about here. XCG looking to shoot them a little bit with these ranged weapons, but JL are immediately going to retreat into the realm of Yang. TXJ already has his ult back online. having that rage, having those soul blooms ready to go. He has it back up and running, and they're going to be going up against KLA. Definitely an interesting fight here. We have the Sand Siphon up against the... we've called this comp many things at this point. I'm going to go with what I've been calling it, which is the Blind Riz. I'm a fan of this one. QGG narrowly avoiding the F3 from the Viper, going past her and then managing to get his ultimate off just in time, using those Fear and Blast to try and peel for his teammates who are kind of stuck in the middle. He does have the Dragon Roar as well, the juggle coming through onto that Wu-Chen. Wu-Chen so unbelievably low, forced to use that ultimate. He's trying to disengage. The Tessa ult coming through to get a little bit of heal off for that Tessa. The Tumult, though, he did get charmed, but thankfully for KLA, no follow-up was executed here. KLA, they don't have any Fury and Blast left over from the Takeda. They have that F1 ready to go. He's probably going to pop it just as he goes to the sky. He does indeed. He's going in to peel for this Tumult. CXZ trying to follow up with the fan R&B, but unfortunately gets knocked out here. QGG, he's just running around with these nunchucks, constantly trying to find openings for his team, turning around that Dragon Roar, constantly trying to flip it round and round, avoiding the parries. The Viper ult coming in from TXJ, but he's getting juggled in the air. He doesn't manage to get the prog off, unfortunately. He does get taken down. KLA now in a huge advantage. The Tessa ult coming through, hitting 2 members, but not the third. They're able to reclaim their souls, and there they are, KLA. Coming out the victors in their second realm of Yang.
This is exactly
what a performance, ladies and gentlemen.
I would say this is exactly what we talked about with those Soul Jades, right? If QGG did not have Dragon's Roar here, I don't think KLA comes out on top of this. That Dragon's Roar saved them so many times and forced out abilities 6 or 7 times in that fight. Without that,
Agreed.
I'm pretty sure KLA just gets minced here. So they're going to come out of this.
Do you know what's crazy, though?
Draco Storm. What's that?
Yeah, the fact that they took the Draco Storm. Not only did KLA take Draco Storm, but 521 took Draco Storm as well. What on earth?
We've been seeing a lot of Draco Storm coming out in trios, believe it or not. A lot of these teams really starting to favor it. You remember for a long time we had a meta where everybody would take Mystic Might and the teams would separate as far away from Realm of Yang so they could just run that Mystic Might out as much as humanly possible. So what a lot of teams have started doing is opting to take the Draco Storm instead, so that way if they do eventually run into a team, they actually get a little bit more of a battle buff instead of just spending their whole time searching the map. And what actually ends up happening is you see a lot of the teams that take the Mystic Might, they spend their whole time running around the map instead of looting and scaling up. They never find a team to actually pick up an elimination with it, so they find no value, and they actually set themselves back time that they could be using to scale.
But the thing is, if they're looking around the map, then they're inherently going to be losing along the way, because, and then just of using the buff as an ESP around them to make sure that they can find all of those lurkers, you know, those teams that have lost 1 or 2 members sitting at the edge of the map trying to stay safe. You know, they're able to spot them out with the Mystic Might buff. The thing that the thing that surprises me though, but then as I saw once the fog had lifted, you know, that because Draco Storm is one of the buffs that does not replenish your ultimate. So the majority of the buffs that you can pick up when you finish the Realm of Yang and from the Morris Blessings give you your ult back. So those being the Million Birds Might, the Mystic Might, you know, even the White Tiger's Prowess, the new buff. These buffs replenish your ultimate's charge when you pick it up. However, Draco Storm does not. So that's why I was curious to why on earth they would choose to pick this. But then I did see that Takeda had 76% of his ult up when he came out of the Realm of Yang, and Zipping got it up almost immediately afterwards. So because of the fact that they'd spent so much time fighting in Yang and had used their ultimates early, they were able to actually get their ultimates back during the fight in Yang and then be able to take Draco Storm. Also, Draco Storm did receive a buff. It now lasts just as long as Mystic Might, so definitely another reason to potentially take it, but still, it was a bit of a shock to me. But we're looking at a quick replay here. JL up against JJH. JL forced to teleport out. JJH using those cooldowns. They have that Karumi. tether and the circle now been used. TXJ in the skies trying to find an opening with that F3. There he is. He gets it onto the Takeda, and Flames just getting absolutely decimated by the F3. Nothing he can do about it, unfortunately. TXJ taking a parry to the face, but it's yeah, it's the poor Karumba.
You know, this is that particular Realm of Yang. While you're talking, one of the few times I've seen a Wu Chen ult actually get a team value inside Realm of Yang. Typically, you know, you pop the Wu Chen ult and you don't really get much time to breathe. But the other team there, I think, made a mistake. Didn't want to immediately jump in then and tried to go ahead and go heal for heal there, and it actually ends up costing them in that particular Realm of Yang. As the other team, once they're able to get those heals back up, just end up having a stronger neutral there, able to take control of the Realm of Yang and come out on top. As you take a look here, we are into zone 4. We're going to see that Bane's Breath dropping just to the side there. Those new Bane's Breaths that come in into zone 4 and zone 5 as GG here comes in and will use those Wu Chen wind walls to buy them a little bit of coverage as they secure this Morris Blessing here. Going to get a legendary Flamer, legendary set of armor for the team there, as well as some Soul Jades that they need. LXM here taking some shots down from Team TE, but not enough damage to scare them away from the box. They're going to sit there and take everything that they want. KLA here inside Plume Castle, giving a little bit of chase to XCG, but not overcommitting, because NiHQ there with the ult transformation. We are going to see QGG get locked down just a little bit there, take some damage. The cannon shots coming through. QGG going to find a pop for themselves. Need to be careful. KLA is 17, looking for the scale rush onto the enemy team, but the team's going to back away. JL buying themselves enough space for it not to be threatening. Fang on the backside there, just trying to keep themselves broken away, but not trying to overcommit to anything. KLA will take the high ground inside of Plumed Castle here as JL forced down below and look to take a reset.
Oh, Kakaishi sitting atop this terrain. It's the Yoto ult at this altitude looks very cinematic, I have to say. Looks very cool, but he's not got much armor. He's lacking a little bit of his HP as well, and NiHQ has also been taken down. He's not out just yet, but that might soon change considering that... Oh, Yeron gets juggled by the F3 mid-air. That was actually... Oh, that was very nice. I have to say, a little lucky from Kakaishi, but his light might soon run out as Yeron has that F2, throws it down, gets the stagger with that staff, and just absolutely slams him into the wall with that F2. Such a strong ability, so unbelievably good, very difficult to dodge. And Bowder looking like they're in a very, very strong position. Although they're lacking some health right now, they do have the fact that they're in Plume Castle. Plume Castle is one of those places that you can run forever as long as you have decent weaponry. You know, you have your dual blades or your staffs or your dagger fan, what have you. You know, you can run for a very long time, and especially if you are skilled in the mountain goat, as Bowder Peak seems to be, you're able to climb onto these sky rocks like an absolute machine. Look at this guy. He's just flying. This guy's flying. Is that Hardy Lamau? Oh. You know, Peak. Oh, yo, watch out. Watch out, bro. He's taking a lot of fire from these cannons, but... Oh! That F3 snipe coming in! TXJ! What a beat! Wait, was that TXJ? Or was that Alliance?
No, Alliance's revenge comes
okay,
to
yeah.
get the scale rush onto Peak.
I thought that was TXJ. Oh, wait, because it cut straight to him. That would have been amazing.
This is gonna be, they are taking a huge risk here. Bowda Yiran using that ult, trying to cover so that they can get the resurrection potentially onto Peak, but it's not gonna be able to last for long enough as those range shots continue to range out. Bowda is gonna have to give up on Peak, and they invested the ultimate there coming in from the Feria, meaning Balda is going to be in quite the vulnerable situation. Many of these teams looking to collapse on them. KLA having given up their high ground from earlier, but KLA was when Bowda actually collapsed onto that first kill earlier. All those cannon shots and range shots you saw coming in that set up that momentum for Peak to get eliminated originally was KLA from their rooftop side. Ooh, that Bane coming in almost connecting onto TXJ, but KLA really pumping out the damage, and then the rest of these teams doing the same. As soon as Bowda finds their Peak in a vulnerable situation, the rest of the teams turn on them with those range shots, and then we see a couple of Scale Rush comes out to clean up up the elimination. So you have to be extremely careful. We talk about Cannon being the MVP all the time. This is one of those reasons. If you can get those shots down, you can very quickly strip the armor off of somebody and put them in a situation like Bowdow's Peak was just put into. Taking a look here, KLA trying to go topside yet again, find that high ground for those ranged weapons that they've managed to put together for themselves. And this is a very particular part of the game where these players need to be careful about what they are and are not committing to. We saw Bowda overcommit, and because of that, they get eliminated from the lobby, or at least one of their players do, and now they are in a tough situation. Alliance on the backside here, using those soul jades just to buy space, not wanting to put themselves too far forward as they know they're trying to make it to these final seconds. Zone 5 now fully collapsed onto Zone 6 in the next 2 seconds. There it is. KLA still trying to hold the high ground here, but Bowda's 2 remaining members in TE above them going to make things a little difficult as the zone continues to collapse. JL not in the best of spots here. We're going to see those huge shots coming in from the bow and the cannon as well. Alliance up above. Lane just looking to buy a little bit of space, hopefully let the rest of the team come in, and there it is. KLA more than happy with their position right now, the 2 positions above them being shoved out by the zone. So KLA in a fair position to get those range shots coming down onto the rest of the lobby.
Indeed. I was just looking very closely at my screen, moving closer to the monitor to try and see if I could spot out where the edge of the zone is going to be. And it looks as though it's going to collapse around where TE and 521 currently are. So KLA are going to have to move, but thankfully for them, they have the agency to move through the sky just like this. Exactly what I was talking about, and find this one little rock to reset their skywalk on. GG looking to hold this ultimate low ground. Definitely a good spot to be in. You know, we talk about ultimate high ground and ultimate low ground. There's value in both. Ultimate high ground, you have the first, you know, the first shots with the range weapons, with the cannons. You can see everything below you. Can be very useful if you can hold the position. Very beneficial. However, if you ever get forced off, you get sent to those players lurking on the ultimate low ground, which GG currently have. They might look as though they're in a very bad position, but they have this Wuchen F3 to keep them topped up and to put down that wind wall if they need to do so. KLA have managed to find themselves the edge of the rooftop here, looking to maintain that high ground. Alliance Revenge just managing to get that Wuchen teleport as he gets charmed by the Tessa ultimate, managing to get away for the moment. Alliance still holding on to these sky rocks, trying their best to stay just in the zone, but also hidden, just so they don't take any damage from below. KLA struggling to stay on their feet here. QGG, he's trying to make it inside this building so that he doesn't take the brunt of damage after this Viper. But look at TE, they're all stuck on the inside of that building. They were all stuck in the Tumult Wall as well, but nobody realized as they had no line of sight. Unfortunately, Alliance taking down CJS from GG. 521, they're not doing so hot in terms of armor, but they've got the Jades. They're chilling on the edge, fortunately for them, but it looks as though Lane, or Ian as I call him, has overstepped and has been taken down by KLA. KLA definitely in a winning position here. They don't have the Takeda ultimate just yet, but they do have that Soul Bloom just picked up by QGG. And it looks as though 521 is just getting obliterated by these cannon shots. EWG 9 as well, getting caught up by that Tessa ultimate from TE, lurking at the edge of the zone here, just inside that building, managing to stay inside the zone. Very, very luckily, Bowder playing trampoline in the sky, using the air pad, a jump pad. I don't know, what do they call? I don't know what we call them. We'll find out at some point. KLA, UGG taking a lot of damage here. You gotta be careful, big dog. Popping that Takeda ultimate alongside the Tumult ultimate as well. But the V3 coming through from TE Han is gonna prevent him from using any of those blades. But they don't manage to take him down before it pops. But they're able to do so. Bowder coming in, Jing managing to shred him with the halberds. He wasn't aware, he didn't see the flank coming in. CXZ trying to do as much as he can with the Dragon Roll, but he's getting blocked by the pillar and just gets sent into the zone, knocked out. Bowder Jing still on his feet in that Ferrier mech, trying to do as much as he can. He manages to get a little bit of damage, but immediately pops out of the mech and just gets obliterated. GG still alive. Bowder, year on, is the last man standing.